All right, this lesson here, obviously a good one. I always say that. I like these lessons. Not being trustworthy. So you can't trust someone. Let's talk about the word trustworthy for a minute. If you ever hear something worthy, it means you deserve it. So if someone is not trustworthy, it means they don't deserve your trust. You shouldn't trust them. They haven't done enough to make it so that you should believe them, right? They have no credibility. Don't believe something that's not trustworthy. And it's not just people who aren't trustworthy. Certain companies aren't trustworthy. You think, or certain brands, like, oh, they make, terrible stuff, not trustworthy. Whatever. So if they don't deserve your trust and belief based on what they do and say, they're not trustworthy. We often say this about people. If they lie all the time, not trustworthy. So different ways to sort of express this, and these have different meanings. There's even more than this, but I want to get into a few interesting ones in particular. This is a good one, full of it. You could say someone's full of it. And if you say that someone is full of it, or worse, if they say that you are full of it, it means that what you're saying is basically total nonsense. You're making things up. You're just, you got these ideas. Like if I say, I've got $50 billion and I'm one of the 3 richest people in the world. You're not going to believe that, right? And if I tell someone that, someone else could say, that guy's full of it, He's lying. He's just making up a story that sounds good. Or I could say, someone might say, oh, they've been dating the 10 most beautiful women in the world, and they're really famous in their own country. And you're like, I don't believe that. You're full of it. Exact same meaning, sounds a little worse, is full of shit. But if you're full of it, you're also full of shit. Some people that say it just don't feel like saying shit because they're kind of scared to say the word shit. It's not always a good word. But they're the same thing. You're full of it, full of shit. You're lying, making up, exaggerating, making up this big story. All right, a little different here. Unreliable. You're not trustworthy in a certain sense. Okay. So, like, just for example, let's say that I promise somebody that I'm going to meet them tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. And I like to sleep in, my alarm clock goes off, and, I press snooze, don't want to get up, and I end up going at 9:30, right? So I'm an hour and a half late. Unreliable, right? You can't rely on what I say. So I didn't lie, right? Like I wanted to go at 8. That was my plan. I wasn't planning to trick them. I wasn't full of it when I said it. I was really thinking, yeah, I'm going to go at 8. But I didn't, so I couldn't even maybe rely on myself. So if you make a promise and you can't keep it, you break the promise, you are unreliable, right? Or if a boss might think, that guy's a pretty good worker, but I don't want to give him this job because it's really important, and I just don't really believe it's going to get done on time anyway. Guy's unreliable. You can't trust that it's going to be done usually by a certain time. You don't think they're lying, but you're not 100% sure it's going to work. Last one, good one here. Flake, flaky, flaked out. Okay, so if someone is a flake, it means they often have this kind of annoying behavior. So you invite them out to something. You say, okay, Thursday night we're going to meet up. And they say, okay, right? And they plan to. They're not lying. They think they're going to go. But they don't really think about it too much. And then at the last minute, they call you up or you get a text that says, oh, I can't make it. I can't go. They flaked, right? So if they do that all the time, they are a flake. They promise they're going to meet somewhere, do something, and then they cancel the plan at the last minute all the time. They're always doing this for no good reason. They are a flake, terrible quality, or they are flaky. They're a flake, or they are flaky. Everybody hates flaky people. They say one thing and then they don't do it often. Or, someone could say, hey, I thought, why are you sitting alone here? I thought you were meeting your buddy for coffee. Or I thought you were meeting this girl for coffee. I thought you had a date. She flaked out. She either flaked or she flaked out. That means, she didn't show up. She didn't come. Or he didn't come. And I'm sitting here waiting. And I just found out recently they flaked out. They didn't do what they said they were going to do. So, these are different ways of not being trustworthy, not deserving someone's trust to believe them. Great phrases to use. Full of it, full of shit, being unreliable, or being flaky, being a flake. Hope you like that one.